Welcome, everybody. My name is Lane Mendenhall-Buck. I'm the Director of School Community Relations, and I'm happy to be part of this quarterly meeting. I'm going to start the meeting today as one of the agenda items I happen to be covering, and then I'll pass it off to principals for their updates, and of course to Stacy, who oversees the Valley Southwoods PTO. So let me just remind everybody that this video is being recorded, this webinar, and we'll have the video of that available online later this week. There is an opportunity to post questions through the Q&A, and we will try to address those at certain points throughout the next hour. So thank you for those of you who are joining us today. Here, hopefully everybody can see the Valley High School webpage. And the thing that I'm going to talk about just briefly today is hopefully many of you received a communication earlier this week or last week about our course registration process for all of our students that will be coming up for the 23-24 school year. And Career Pathways is something that we encourage all families to work with their students on when they are considering what classes they may be interested in registering for next year. All of the junior high and high school counselors are up to speed on career pathways, what it means, what the purpose is, so you can always work with your school counselor as well. Our administrators are aware. So really my role today is just to walk you through how do you actually find this information online, and then I can potentially answer any questions that you may have briefly. But we know that course registration is coming up here in the coming weeks for high schoolers, and we want to introduce this new way to consider classes. So I'm going to use the Valley website as an example, but the same information is available through the same way on the Valley Southwoods website. And when I am on the Valley High School homepage and I hover over the menu Academics, I just scroll down to the link that says Career Pathways. And Career Pathways is just again, a new or different way of considering how to select classes, and specifically, I would say the majority of those that are showing now would be within the electives. While some core classes may align as well, this is really intended to give students an opportunity to find career interests. So when I click on Career Pathways, you'll see there's a basic overview page. And then we have right now 9 different pathways that are listed. There are many pathways that we could add. As you know, we have over 100 electives and just a huge volume of opportunities for our high school students. And that is a real proud thing that we're able to share for West Des Moines Community Schools. But to launch this, we've really narrowed down these 9 areas. And so I'm just going to click into one as an example and not take a whole lot of time. Again, in a communication that hopefully you received, there is information about pathways as well as a brief video that you can watch that kind of mirrors what I'm going to share today. So if I click on Culinary Arts, this page is going to give an overview of the types of careers that may be available to somebody who's interested in the culinary arts overall. On the right-hand column, there are several videos. Right now, they're all through Road Trip Nation, and they are interviews with different individuals within the careers, such as you can see here, baker and blogger, food scientist, pastry chef, etc. So you can click through to those and view videos that allow people to talk about what their experience is within the industry, how they may have gotten into their career, what they like about it, that sort of thing. As I scroll down, we list just a few of the many careers that might be available for somebody interested in the culinary arts. And then really, I'm sure you're asking, well, how do I actually have this tied into Valley High School, and what does that mean for my student? So then as I continue to scroll down just a little bit, you'll see here on the left that it has pathway courses. And if I click expand all, I'm able to see the listing of classes that is available starting at the 9th grade with family and consumer science. It gives an introduction to what the class is about. It has all the course information. And then as I continue to scroll, I can see Culinary Arts 1, Culinary Arts 2, and then of course Cafe V, which is a DMAT credit class, and really immerses the student into the experience of what would it be like to work in the food industry. One of the things that I really enjoy about the career pathways information listed is if I want to see how does this tie into the 4-year plan. So when I scroll down just a little bit more, there is an example 4-year plan. And if I click on this graphic, hopefully you can see this visual easily, but this not only shows me as a parent or the student, what are the classes that are needed in order to meet those core requirements. So those would be things in that light blue color, required courses. But then where within each year do I have opportunities to have electives? And within those electives, what kinds of culinary arts classes could I take each year? So family and consumer science, that's what FCS stands for, would be a freshman class. I could then take Culinary Arts 1 my sophomore year, Culinary Arts 2 my junior year, and have potentially both a work experience and Cafe V my senior year. This is, again, just an example. We encourage you to work with your counselor about what that might look like for your student. But what it hopefully helps both students and families see is a visual of if a student is interested in a particular pathway, how that can really be built in very easily into their course selection. You may also want to ask, like, what if my student is already a sophomore and they're signing up for their junior year? How can I still, get involved in the culinary arts? Certainly there are opportunities. So again, if I just kind of close out of this box here and scroll back up, I'm able to see that Culinary Arts 1 is available throughout the years. So it's not just a sophomore level class. This, again, is just another way of helping your students envision and experience what it might be like if they're interested in a particular pathway. The website also provides some basic information about career-related activities. So what clubs might be available at Valley, workplace learning experiences, any kinds of certificates. We know that not every pathway or career may require a 4-year degree. So what types of certificates might be available in this industry, as well as potential college majors. So while I used the culinary arts as an example, if I go back to the main career pathways page, and if I were to click into any of these other pathways, it would be a very similar look and feel. So an overview with videos, a list of potential careers, the courses that are available for your student to sign up for, and then any other kind of experiences, and that 4-year plan is very helpful. When I spoke with counselors, and I know we have a counselor on the video today, that was one of the things that was indicated as a nice visual addition that they can work with students on as well. So I'm going to stop sharing right now and jump back out and just give a brief moment if there's anybody that has any questions on this. Just again, as a reminder, you should have received a communication this week that really detailed, based on whether your student is a current freshman, sophomore, junior, et cetera, what the dates are related to class registration. Career pathways information is embedded in that. And then we have electives videos that are also linked through that as well. I didn't share on the website, but of course, you can always just go to our course listings page through Valley. That's just another link within the website in which you can navigate and see all of the different courses that are available. I'm not seeing any questions come up. So with that, I'm going to just bounce it, I think, over to our principals for updates if I'm accurate on the agenda for today.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Dave Maxwell here, Valley High School principal. I will go first, and I know that Mindy is going to be joining us here fairly soon. But I think due to the alternate schedule we're running today, it kind of prevented her from being here at the beginning of our meeting. We are finishing our first semester. Holy cow, how fast time is flying. It's hard to believe that our seniors are getting ready to enter their last semester of school. I know my youngest is graduating this year, and I know that for a lot of us, our last one is coming through. So kind of surreal to believe that our half the year is almost over and getting ready to finish out start our second semester, which starts Tuesday. Just a reminder, there's no school on Monday due to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the national holiday for kids and teachers. But then we'll start Tuesday, and at Valley, we're going to start with an 8-period day on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, it will be the odd block, Thursday, the even block, and then we'll go back to the 8-period on Friday. So we are going to, Valley High School will be presenting our school improvement data to the school board on Monday, January 23rd. We're really excited to show the progress that we've been making. We are getting ready second semester to start focusing on attendance. We know that the pandemic created so many significant challenges for our kids, for our teachers, and we're still trying to figure out the overall impact on public education. But we are seeing some things showing up in our attendance that's somewhat concerning. And so we want to make sure that we just reiterate to our students the importance of being in school every day and in all their classes every day, as well as not only being in classes every day, but being there on time. One thing we've noticed is we have a few lingerers after the bell at Valley, and even we have a 5-minute passing period. And at the 4th minute, we have what we call the 1-minute warning. And we just have an announcement, which is school-wide, that says, students, you have 1 minute until class begins. Hoping that that's a nice little mnemonic reminder for kids to start moving in the direction of class. And some kids, they just, there's the 1-minute warning, and they'll still take their time. So we need to impress upon them the importance of time and being places on time, which ties directly into one of our PBIS behaviors, which also happens to be the essential life skills and the professionalism specifically. So we're going to be focusing on attendance starting the first day of the second semester. Also, we're in a very active season for a lot of our students who like to do the performing arts. Monday night, we had our show choir parent preview. And if you have a chance to go see the kids in show choir, we have Ignition, which is kind of the junior varsity show choir, Correlation, which is the varsity show choir. But then we also have students in our show choir band. So the music that the kids sing and dance to is actually performed by students that stand behind the risers. And they are so talented. It's just amazing how much talent we have with our kids who are involved in the performing arts, as well as IHSSA, which is the Iowa High School Speech Association. And this is an opportunity for kids who may not want to sing and dance, but still perform. This is an opportunity for them to memorize speeches or do choral readings and with their peers. There's about, I think, like maybe 19 or 20 different categories that students can get involved in with IHSSA. And I believe Friday, tomorrow night, is the parent preview for IHSSA, I believe. And then Saturday, I believe there's a competition as well. And then also just a reminder, February 21st and February 28th are conferences at Valley. So it's Tuesday and then the following Tuesday. The first Tuesday is going to be the Tiger Talks, which are those conferences where teachers reach out or parents can request to meet privately with the teacher in their room for a longer amount of time than what we call the Tiger Snapshots, which will be on the 28th. And the Tiger Snapshots is that arena style where everybody has a table in the school and like 5-minute conferences. Truly, it's just to get a snapshot of what your student is doing within their classes. One other thing I do want to mention is we have a very exciting professional development day coming up for our teachers. And actually, it's a 2-day thing. So February 17th and February 20th, there's no schools on those days. So it's a Friday and then a Monday. So students will actually have a 4-day weekend. But the 17th and the 20th, Valley High School is providing some professional learning for our teachers. And we're treating it like a professional conference, as if you sign up to go to a conference in another city, and it's a multi-day conference where there's breakout sessions and keynote speakers. We are doing that. And the name of our conference is Let's Get Engaged. Meaning we want to remind teachers of strategies and skills to get students engaged in learning and engaged in their classes. So we figured the month of February, Valentine's Day, the month of love, let's get engaged. That's a fun way to get teachers involved in strategies, instructional deliveries in terms of how to get kids engaged in learning, how to get kids engaged in class, how to get kids engaged back in school. So that's it from Valley High School, and I'll get in the chat, see if there's any questions that I might be able to answer. I'm not sure if Mindy has joined us yet, but Lane, I'll kick it back to you.
Great. There was one question that came up, not specific to you, David, and it might be something that Larry will be able to answer. I know he's going to be sharing some information about helping students prepare for post-secondary and ACT and all of that. But there was a question about if we will have any programs offered during the summer, such as a nursing program. And I'm going to defer to you at the high school level to share if there's any planning for anything like that.
I can answer that, Larry. So I know that we will have some credit recovery opportunities for students who, for whatever reason, may not have experienced success during the second semester, and they maybe did not pass or earn credit in a course. Depending on the teachers that we can recruit to come back in for about 3 weeks and get students to passing and earn that credit, we will provide some opportunities for that credit recovery. In terms of those specialized programs, that's a really good question. I'll have to talk with the counselors and as well as my administrative team and see exactly what we can do. Some of those classes are tied to DMAC, of course, and we want to make sure that DMAC is aware and that they're okay with offering those courses as well. So let me at the next PTO meeting, I'll see if I can have some more solidified answers for you.
Thank you, Mr. Maxwell. The other one was asking about a Spanish translation of this video, and we can certainly explore that and see what we can do in the future. Have some captioning available for translation, but we appreciate the bringing that up, and we certainly want to support our families as much as we can.
Absolutely, I saw that as well. It's a great idea.
There weren't any other questions that popped up. Stacy, would you like me to kick this over to Larry, or how would you like to proceed?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so am I good to go? All right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to visit with you today. The directive really centered around post-secondary and the things that we do here at the high school level to prepare kids for post-secondary. And I think the most important thing to understand right up front is post-secondary really references absolutely everything a student can do once they leave our doors. So typically as a parent, I think we always go to post-secondary means college, university, and actually it also entails those who want to do the apprenticeships, go to the military, who some of them just want to go straight to work, and how do we guide that student? So all of that ties to post-secondary. So with that, am I allowed to share my screen? Yeah, okay. And I have a presentation, obviously, that I want to show you. And share. Sorry, I'm not a classroom teacher. I'm not used to functioning with with all the technology. So one of the first things in this presentation, the names that you're seeing in front of you are all the people here in the counseling office that assist with anything related post-secondary. You can see the first 6 names on there are the Valley counselors and our email addresses. Of course, reach out to us if you've got questions specifically to some of those electives as we're getting ready to enroll, because most importantly, I think my advice to students is if we get it right the first time, we never have to make changes, and we can ensure that we can get you to the courses you want if we can take care of things right away. So the names on the bottom might not be as familiar to you. So Chris Nelson is our registrar. She takes care of entering the grades, transcripts, etc. Cindy Bonus, as you know, we have our Silver Cord program that gets kids out to do some volunteering in the community. The other 2 on there are tied to DMAC accounts, but Becca Henricks is the DMAC counselor who comes to visit us, and she will oversee all the enrollment in our dual courses. As you know, I am not a DMAC counselor, so I cannot see how many credits a student has earned at DMAC, what their DMAC GPA is. So Becca comes in every Thursday and spends a day with us to assist kids on all that. We do have a lot of kids that will try to receive their AA through us, and they will work with Becca on that. But when I think of post-secondary overall, Kenya Pruitt's position is new, and it is very unique to the school setting. She is tied to DMAC, and DMAC hired her, but her position really is all about transition and anything after Valley. So she does not promote DMAC. She does not encourage kids to DMAC. But if a student comes to me and says, Mr. Mondernock, I really have no clue what to do when I leave Valley, my connection to Kenya allows her, she will do some assessments with them. She will talk about, sorting through all the options, and fantastic addition to our office is Kenya Pruitt. So my seniors and some of my juniors now are starting to sit down and visit with her a little bit. So if you are new to us, or your children may be a year or 2 out, you might not be aware that we've made this addition into the counseling office. So, all right. So one of the big tools that we have that's overreaching everything is our Naviance system, which is how we deliver most of our career and post-secondary work to the students. So you will see in this slide, we have our interest inventories, we have resume builders, career search. These items that you're seeing there are all things that students are doing, and we do it through the advisory program is where those are delivered, okay? And students all have access to a Naviance account. Within that, they can also do their career searches, and it will pull up a series of videos. For example, if I were to land on, I want to be an accountant, I'll use the accountant. There are videos in there where an actual accountant comes on and talks to them about what their typical day is, what it's like to be an accountant, and that sort of stuff. And that's hundreds of videos on potential careers with people who hold the job. So I think that is a nice little resource within Naviance for our students. The page you're looking at now is one of the first pages that we present to our seniors. We will meet with the seniors in the fall and go over all the things that need to be coming onto the radar quickly. So within this presentation, you'll see we link in Naviance. We link in how to Supermatch, and Supermatch is a tool to line them up with colleges. The apprenticeship link that is there talks about apprenticeships and what they can do for you. And in our curriculum, we are bringing in more and more apprenticeships for the students to get involved with. We had the question just a little bit ago about the nursing. I think everybody knows we've got a nursing program in the building. We have had an EMT program in the building. We've got a welding apprenticeship that exists in our building. We've got one on for the consumer, it's through John Deere that is going to be starting now. So Shane Scott from the LRC is doing quite a bit, reaching out to people in the community and trying to get things set up for our students here in the house, which in the last, 4 or 5 years, we haven't had a lot. So this is apprenticeship. This is really a growing area for us. And then that last link on the bottom there, there is an article behind that where you can kind of see or read thinking points that are necessary for, is this the right avenue for me? Should I be considering apprenticeship? Should I be looking at military? Should I look at 2-year schools, 4-year schools? That's the kind of stuff that's within that. And this I will share with Lane so that we can have that tied in. Hopefully I can learn how to kick a link to you. So the graduation requirements for us, Lane has kind of already shared a page where a lot of that is laid out for you. A lot of our individual meetings that we do with students, when they come and talk to us about classes, it's really, my question to them always is, what is the purpose to what you're doing? Where are we going and how are we going to get there, really? So the grad requirements take care of the you have to's, the electives are all the I want to's, and we navigate those accordingly. So within our building, we have quite a few classes with college credit, with potential college credit. I think most people are familiar that, DMAC is here quite a bit. And it's pretty hard to get out of our building without touching a DMAC class. Just about everybody gets something somewhere. And then it's a matter of what do you do with it when you're done. The dual classes that are DMAC here in the house are free of charge. And I think there are a lot of parents that will email me and want to know about the cost involved with that. There is none. So in my time here, and I've been here a long time, I have seen a lot of students that forego early graduation. They don't leave at semester. They don't try to get out at the end of the junior year. They'll watch those DMAC credits and actually take advantage of trying to get at least a year of college paid for before they leave us. And for parents, I think that is a significant savings for you. The other portion of that slide you're seeing is the advanced placement program, and the AP are our upper level courses, but they also have college credits tied to them. And part of the AP exams that go on at the end of the year are ways that the students can secure credit through the AP program in the event that the DMAC dual credits do not transfer with them. And we do have a couple of places in our building where AP courses do not have DMAC credits tied to them because of the curriculum alignment. So the AP exams become a pretty key portion of trying to get to that. So, okay, so one of the things I share with my seniors when we visit about the colleges and things in the fall is, one thing, I would never advise my child to buy a car without test driving it. I would never send my child to a college without visiting, without talking to an admissions rep to see, what's under the hood, so to say. And so we have quite a lengthy list of representatives that come in here to our office, and students can sit and actually talk. What do I got to have? What do you have to offer me? Right? Because the college, it is a two-way street. The student is going to get an education from them, but the college also needs to kind of sell themselves a little bit so that the students know, yes, I can take a biology degree, but what have I got on Saturday and Sunday when I'm free? What's there to offer? What clubs do you have on campus that I can engage in, because I'm a very active student? So those are things that the admissions people can talk over in those meetings, and they will also talk about scholarships and financial aid with the students and things that are available on campus through them that maybe we don't know about. So, but there's some tips that are linked in there as well. So this slide here shows the RAI calculator. So if you are not familiar with what RAI is, it is the admission index to our state universities. And to apply to the state universities, they're going to score a student based on their grade point, their ACT, and the core courses they've taken in our building. So if that that calculator comes up with a score of 245, and you can kind of see it off to the left how we get there. Student knows when they submit the application, they are admitted. They're going to Iowa. They're going to Iowa State. It is there. And if they're short, we can help navigate what's the best way to gain a point or two. All right. This is an important slide information for our students, because even though the world is changing and we're not sending as many students toward the Ivy Leagues as we maybe did, 15 years ago, Iowa and Iowa State are still our largest feeders. We're sending more kids there than anywhere else. So we have to keep in mind what those schools are going to require of us. For my students who do not want to go to a large university like that, if they are considering something along the lines of the Iowa privates or something outside of the state, generally this RAI is a pretty good predictor about whether you can get admitted to someplace like a Central or a Simpson or something along those lines. But there's links within that tell you how to calculate. And of course, the counselors, we're pretty good at doing it. So reach out if you need us on that. This page links paying for everything, right? So as we know, nothing's going to be for free. So how do we go about taking care of things, whether it is a four-year university, whether it is a two-year college, a training program, such as something through heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, like Vatterott would offer here in Polk County, and even some of the apprenticeships have got price tags to them. So how does that all begin? Well, it all begins with a FAFSA form, which is financial aid paperwork for the federal government. And from that, you will receive your eligibility for whether or not you are going to have any grants, which are free money, whether you're going to have to take out a loan, which you have to pay back. And on this page, you can see the words work study. And that's getting a job on campus where you help wash the dishes, mow the yard, assist a professor, things like that, in order to gain money to offset your expenses. And that all ties through the FAFSA. The other link that's in there at the top of the page is the Iowa College Aid, and that is specific scholarship availability to students looking at the Iowa privates. So when my daughter went to the University of Dubuque, we clicked on that and we landed with a few $1,000s, and we were thankful. Okay, so it's worthy if you're looking at the Iowa privates. All right. At Valley High School, on our webpage, we do link all the scholarships that come into us. So that is typically nationwide things that come during the fall. So you're looking at things like a Coca-Cola, Toyota, and how do I compete against the kid from New York or Atlanta? That's a lot of our early stuff. But right now, it is shifting to all the local things. So the West Des Moines Foundation is out. Kiwanis, Lions, things like that are here in Polk County are coming onto our list with active scholarship deadlines coming. Worthy to look at, right? You only need one or two of them to pay off, and your time has been well spent. One specific scholarship that we have under there that I don't think a lot of our parents are aware of is the Last Dollar Scholarship from the community colleges here in Iowa. And the Last Dollar Scholarship is a specific scholarship for those going to community colleges looking specifically at a career where there is a job shortage, right? And it waives tuition. So my kids that are going to nursing right now at DMAC can get tuition waived under Last Dollar. My daughter did one in computer science and is still benefiting from Last Dollar because she has now transferred into DMAC. So she just found that was the better passion area for her. So, and then down below, you can see links right to our most common schools and their websites for aid and assistance. Okay. As we know, we got to have entrance exams. Post-COVID, this area has really shifted. I have a lot of schools now that do not require an ACT or an SAT for admissions. They are test optional. And in that regard, those students do have the choice of saying, I'm not going to submit an ACT to you, but they will have to write a personal statement And so if they're a gifted writer or a strong writer, certainly that may be the way to go. But for scholarship purposes at that university, you still have to submit a test score. So though it may be test optional, you know, if it's a private school like a Drake, and Drake will give scholarships based on your ACT score, you know, the higher it is, the more they will assist you. You still got to have that test score. So I think for parents to understand the big difference between the two tests, ACT has 4 subject areas that it tests: English, math, reading, and science. And with ACT, it has a writing option to it that is not required, but you can sign up for the writing component. In the last 10 years, the number of students taking this has dwindled significantly for us because there aren't very many places demanding that writing component. The SAT covers 2 areas, right? Half of the score is based on your English and your critical reasoning, and the other half is specific math. SAT has now taken away its writing component. There is no writing component to the SAT any longer. So students, wherever your strength is the avenue I would go. But here at Valley, we are getting ready. You've been getting some messages maybe from Lane that we're getting ready for our March ACT, where we will test all of the juniors on a school day. So that is coming. You may have gotten notice that your students have been added to a Canvas account as we prepare for next year. So the students are working in advisory now on trying to lay out what that plan is going to be going forward. They will all have an individual appointment with their counselor at the last week of January or first week of February. We're going to meet with all 2,300 kids in about 8 or 9 days. And it might sound overwhelming to you, but it is actually a fun experience that I really enjoy. Just because I like to ask the kids the question, why are you taking the classes and what are we going to do when this place is over, right? And you get into a really good conversation, and sometimes that triggers extra thought into the courses, and they have to come back a second time because they want to rethink something that we talk about. So but that process is beginning, as Lane mentioned at the beginning of this. So, and then I think, Lane, in that agenda for today, they wanted a little more information maybe on the AP testing and the process for that, right? Okay, so if you were not aware, this year the rules for AP testing have changed. In the past, the weighted grade in our classes for AP was strictly tied to students who took the AP exams. And this year we have shifted. So this test is no longer required. It is now optional for our students in the AP courses. What happens this year is for weighted grading, the students will get a 0.5 bonus for simply taking and completing the course. However, if they take the AP exam, we will add an additional 0.5 at the end of the AP testing season, okay? So far, I would say, as I've done the registration for this year, everybody has still signed up. This did not cut my AP testing numbers at all. But I think as we get closer, a lot of my seniors will realize that the DMAT credits are going to transfer with them. The AP test is not necessary. So sometimes when I get to the 1st of May, I'll have a few of my seniors that will say, no, I'm fine. So, but the last little comment I have there is the blue and the gold cords, and those are still dependent upon taking AP exams. So a blue cord that is given to a student at graduation is for those who have achieved 3 or better on 3 or more AP exams. And it's called an AP Scholar, and that's what initially earns the blue cord. And then, of course, there are different levels. I mean, the more tests you take and the higher you score, you may be a scholar with distinction, you may become a national AP scholar, that sort of stuff. So the gold cord is simply for those who take 5 or more AP exams. We do not look at the score. I do not consider the score because a lot of times they're doing their 4th or 5th test as a senior, and we're going to graduate them before I will ever see the score. So the gold cord, they still have to have 5 or more AP exams taken. So, and then once in a while, there are kids that will back out of number 5, and I'll stop them and say, wait a minute, are you aware of what you're doing? And they'll tell me yes or no, but those are things new with our AP testing this year. I guess I'll leave
Thank
it
you,
there.
Larry.
Leave
No,
it there for questions.
there were a couple questions that came through about when. So we will have the just as a reminder, the ACT test in March, but they had some fee questions related to AP fee due dates. If you, and apologize if you already mentioned that, I didn't catch that.
I did not reference the AP due dates for the fees. We have a date posted in March. I think it might be the 3rd, like the first Friday of March. We want fees paid by then. So what we're going to do the week after that, while we're doing that ACT, the AP coordinator and I will be reaching out to those who haven't taken care of the fees to make sure they still want the test.
Okay.
Or if there's an issue, maybe we can talk about that, because that when we leave for spring break, I can no longer amend the AP order after that time. So it is what it is once we leave for spring break.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. There, just as a reminder, we will have the slides available at both the video that's being recorded here, and then the slide presentation will not only be available online, but I'll work with Mr. Maxwell to see if we can get that linked in maybe his Friday newsletter for families who may want to view that as well, and who weren't able to join today's meeting.
Hey, Lane, real quick, I'm
Yep.
sorry. There was another question. We have our 9th grade parent night tonight for incoming sophomores for next year, just to give some basic information around our courses, our schedule, and just kind of how Valley operates. And the question was, will that be recorded tonight? During COVID, we tried to do as much live streaming as we could, but I don't believe we're going to be recording it tonight.
Okay, thank you for answering that question. There were a couple of other questions that maybe, Larry, I don't know if you can see those questions that popped up in the Q&A that you might be able to answer.
Yep, I'm looking at them right now. So the first one that I'm seeing there is whether or not Kenya can work with us alumni. I really don't know how that part of her job goes, but it's worth a call. And is the 0.5 bump if you take the AP test dependent on the score? No, because I have to do, the scores don't release until July. So we have to take care of everything with grade points at the end of May. So no, the score is not dependent on any of that. Will the schedule changes, dropping, adding, switching, be acknowledged by counselors? I would hope so. When a student submits a change for a schedule, it sends an email to me, and then I work through those in order to make sure that the next kid in line has the fairest shot to the remaining seats available in a course. So yes, they should be getting looked at by all of us. Can I run through an RAI example? Absolutely. So if I have a student looking at the state universities, I will look at an ACT score. So if that ACT score is 22, I'm going to take ACT times 3. So I have 66 RAI points. If I have a 3-point grade point, I'm going to take that times 30. So I would have 90 additional RAI points. So now I'm at 152. And so when I count my core courses, a year of a class gains me 5 points. So a year of US history is 5, a year of algebra is 5. So you can see in this student situation, pretty much the academic core that the district requires puts them really close. If they've been taking foreign language along the way, they're going to be admissible. They're going to be pretty close to that cutoff. So hopefully that kind of lets you know how that goes. Can a sophomore take the ACT in March? No, we do not allow sophomores onto that March ACT because they will have their opportunity next year. So for the sophomores and the seniors on that day, we do offer the military test, the ASVAB, the vocational aptitude battery that the military offers, is available for students who want to sign up for it. Last year, Kenya took a group of students up to Iowa State for a tour. So we had a few sophomores that jumped in on that. So we'll have a few things around that the kids can do.
And just to let everybody else know, while we sent out a communication to our families with juniors to mark that March 8th date, we will be sending out another communication soon to all of the families, letting them know what will that day look like for sophomores and seniors, since it is a no school day for those grades. And there's some specific opportunities, like Larry mentioned, for both grades.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead of your communications, Lane.
No, that is no problem at all. I think that we answered all of the questions, and I know that we want to have Mindy be able to share some freshman updates as well. So I will see if maybe now is the best time to transition it over to her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we are rocking over here in these last few days of the first eighth of our ninth graders experience, so high school experience. So our students are working really hard with our teachers right now to make sure all their last pieces of evidence are getting turned in and that their grades are getting updated. I know we've got a lot of teacher-parent communication back and forth right now about grades and what we need to do to get some of our ninth graders to be the most successful possible. And so we're excited to transition into semester 2 and kind of get to that point where ninth graders fully start to understand what high school is all about, and are looking forward to heading into second semester. Lane sent out a really great communication 2 days ago with a bunch of important dates, so I won't repeat all of those, but we have the event that Mr. Maxwell shared this evening up at Valley for incoming 10th grade registration information. Lots of things coming to register for the amazing diverse offerings that they'll be able to take at Valley next year. Please, reach out to the counselors here at Valley Southwoods with any questions you have as you and your student are looking through those course offerings. We'd be happy to help you. We know when students can choose something they're really passionate about and excited about, they're more likely to engage and be in class and be successful. So looking forward to going through that process. We do also have conferences pretty early in the semester 2, and that is included in Lane's email, but we have those on February 1st and 2nd. We'd love to see as many folks as we can. We'll have information coming out around the logistics for that soon, so we'll get that out to you all so that you know how to access the teachers that you need to see and get the feedback that you need for how your students are doing. Otherwise, I think everything that was probably shared before I was able to jump on is probably similar for us over here at Valley Southwoods. So I'll just take any questions that folks might have.
I'm not seeing any questions pop up in the Q&A. If somebody happens to type one, we can try and catch you in the last 10 minutes. Otherwise, I will let Stacy jump in with some PTO announcements, or if she has anything else that she'd recommend that we discuss in this last bit of time together.
Great. Yeah, no, I just wanted to thank all our school leaders today for sharing this information, and thank Lane for moderating for us today. I wanted to let the group know that the next PTO meeting is going to be Thursday, April 13th at noon. So we'd love to have you join us again. And then also just please consider going to our website, vhspto.org, to see how you can help us support our students and staff. And I think we maybe received a question.
We did. We had a question about if there is an opportunity to provide just a quick update on construction that might be going on. We have just a little construction at Southwoods, but construction that's going on at Southwoods, and even if there's anything going on at Valley. So I'll let maybe Mindy start, since her answer might be a little bit longer.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for asking. We just did a tour of a couple of spots yesterday. Some pretty exciting things happening over here. Our culinary arts edition will be completed by the end of the school year. And so that is going to be, if you're familiar with our forum or cafeteria area, just off kind of coming through our main entrance, then the circular forum, it'll be there. As that wraps up, which would be actually a beautiful space, a commercial grade, high quality culinary arts program that we'll be able to offer for our students. As that wraps up, they'll move over into our actual cafeteria. So they're going to be doing some significant updates to our cafeteria area, creating kind of some more flexible spaces to do selling, kind of like a kiosk where students can go and buy different snacks and such, a la carte. It'll be nicely updated for next year. And then our biggest piece here is the CTE building over my shoulder to the right. I'm sure if you've driven by lately, you've seen some walls starting to go up. Concrete is getting poured this week, and additional walls you'll start to see. Actually, I think they said by the end of next week, we'll see some pretty significant changes over there. So we are pledged to be ready to have that building finished in time for the fall. And then we have to start, though, bringing in some pretty heavy duty machinery for the different programming that's going to be offered there. So start date won't be this coming fall. It'll be pushed back or as it's on time to be following this fall semester. And it's really looking spectacular and is a beautiful addition to our campus. So if you haven't been by lately, please stop by and or drive by and see it. And a reminder that those classes will be available for students 9 through 12. So if you have a student that you have in your life or someone you know who is interested in some of those career tech pathway courses, this will be a great opportunity for them to sign up and engage in classes that are meaningful for them, that get them to apply the career pathway that is best fit for their needs. The classes that have been vetted to be offered are some of the careers that are most desired in Iowa right now. And so our team has done a very nice job at the district office of thoughtfully planning what's going to be offered there and how to make the best use of that space. And so it's really exciting to see what the future will bring over here at Valley Southwoods.
And I'll jump in. We do have some updates with regards to some roof replacement taking place at Valley. They've really started digging in over here. I was hoping that we would be a little further along than what we are, but I think with some weather challenges as well as some manpower challenges, we're finally starting to get our roof replaced. I got an updated timeline, and it looks like we're probably going to be going through spring break. Just due to the condition of the roof and how much work is needed up there to get that put back in place and functional and protecting the building as it should. There were some questions in the chat that I want to make sure I have a chance to respond to. The first one was around reassessments and retakes. The goal, of course, for the purpose, first of all, for assessments is just to measure student knowledge and to make sure that students are understanding the material and the content. As part of our effective grading practices, students have the ability and the opportunity to reassess a test or a quiz if they need to. If they did not do as well as they'd like and they wanted another shot, then they can reassess. One thing that we learned was that students would not take the first assessment very seriously, knowing they had an opportunity to reassess. So what we want to do is make sure that we are trying to shorten the window of when students can reassess an assessment. Before, they had up to 2 weeks. And I believe we tried to shorten it down to about a week, because what we found happening in some classes is students would get into what we call the reassessment loop. Meaning they had a test, they did not do very well on the test, possibly didn't prepare as diligently as they could, knowing they had a chance to reassess. So they took a test, knowing they had the chance to reassess. And then in preparing for the reassessment, then all of a sudden it's as if they're an assessment behind. So we're trying to avoid that reassessment loop and making sure the students are staying up to speed with the tests and the material and the quizzes and tests in all of their classes. So now at the end of the semester, we do allow that 2-week reassessment, or if there's an incomplete that needs to be rectified, then students have 2 weeks to get that taken care of, as long as they're communicating with the teacher and there were extenuating circumstances. The other question was around sophomore parking. We are looking at all of the different options in West Des Moines. Right now, we are having conversations with another entity near Valley High School, and we just need to get some things more solidly in place before I'd like to share what that will be. But it's looking positive that there could be more than likely sophomore parking for next year, with the Church of Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ no longer being an option for us.
Great. Thank you, David, for that. And we just have a couple minutes left, so can pause here, see if any other questions come in. Otherwise, we might be done a couple minutes early. All right. I'm not seeing anything else come in, so I'm going to pass this back to you, Stacy, to wrap things up.
Yeah, I just want to thank all our speakers again and thank everyone who attended today. This was really great information. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.